My name is Ingrid and I'm a staff member at Penzi Dog Sports Academy. Today I want to talk to you about reading your dog. So what should you be looking for as you watch your dog for tells? Every dog is different, but there are some overall signs we can watch for. There are the big movements that should be fairly obvious. If your dog takes his entire body and leaves, that's a huge message for you. Your dog is telling you that he is so uncomfortable in the situation that he cannot stay there. If you have to restrain or hold your dog in place, then he does not have a choice. He's there only because he cannot leave. This is why it's so important for us to give our dogs the choice to opt in or out of a husbandry session. By staying or going, our dogs are giving us incredibly important information about their comfort level in a situation. At a lower level, we would see our dogs who move a body part away when you reach for them, but stay in the basic location. If your dog jerks his foot back every time you reach towards it or shuffles sideways a bit, that's a tell. He's avoiding you without actually leaving. If you persist, then this behavior is likely to escalate to that level. A dog who flinches when touched is also telling you that there is an emotional and possibly physical discomfort as well. It's important to note that many dogs hide or mask physical discomfort as much as possible. The same tells we use for emotional comfort also work for us to help us determine if there is something that is physically unpleasant or painful. The sooner we note these issues, the sooner we can have them properly evaluated and treated. Keeping a close eye on your dog's tells is important for their physical as well as mental health. Now, if your dog vocalizes during any procedure, that is another big tell. Your dog is indicating distress and also letting you know that he's uncomfortable enough to possibly move to defensiveness. Grumble or growl is actually an attempt to avoid further confrontation. If it is ignored, then your dog may feel the need to escalate, which we definitely want to avoid. It puts your dog in the position of feeling the need to defend himself from you or others, and that is never going to lead to a good outcome. It is a big red flag that you are heading down the wrong path and you need to stop and rethink your approach. Typically, your dog's ears and tail are a good indicator of his comfort level. Positions change as emotions change. Ears go sideways or back or seemingly disappear altogether. The tail goes from neutral to straight down to tucked. These are typically easy and important indicators of emotional levels. Pay attention to them and note when changes happen. Watch for overall body stiffness and tightness as opposed to relaxed and loose. Many dogs will freeze and go still when they become stressed. The stillness doesn't mean they are okay, just the opposite. There's a huge difference between waiting patiently and a stress-induced lack of movement. Much of our work depends on our dogs holding still first. But there's normal stillness, and then there's a lack of movement that is not at all comfortable or relaxed. If you're not sure whether you have stillness or freezing, take a look at your dog's facial expression. Are the eyes bright and happy, or does there seem to be flatness to them? Is your dog easily making eye contact with you, or are you noticing some side eye happening? Side eye, also sometimes called whale eye, is a term used by dog trainers when the dog's eyes are as large and round as possible and he is looking off to one side so that the whites are clearly visible on the other side. This can be a sign of extreme distress or impending defensive action. It's important for you to know what normal looks like so that you will then notice any changes to that. Your dog's normal facial expression is likely to typically be soft and relaxed. Any changes to that are important and should be noted. Some dogs display furrows in their forehead area, worry lines. Others show more tightness around the muzzle. And sometimes the expression in the eyes is simply different. Now let's talk about some consent signs. We've started talking more and more about the concept of consent in dog training. How do we know that our dogs are freely agreeing to do what we want them to do? This is a fairly new question because in the past, nobody really cared all that much about how the dogs felt. They only cared about what the dog did. Most of you here, however, are vitally concerned with your dog's emotional comfort and well-being, and understanding when they are consenting procedures or not is an important factor to consider. What does consent look like? This is going to depend on the dog and on your dog's training history together. Our dogs cannot give us verbal consent as other humans can, so we need to look at easily observed behavior changes. In addition to watching for tells of discomfort, we can also introduce consent behaviors into our work. A consent behavior is a way for your dog to tell you that he's ready to continue our session or that he needs a break. The consent behavior must be taught and highly reinforced before it is paired with other husbandry procedures. Once taught, then the dog gets to decide if he's comfortable enough to use it or not. We use two similar behaviors, the chin rest if the dog is standing or sitting, and the head down flat if the dog is lying down. For consent behaviors, if the dog moves out of position, then we stop what we are doing. When the dog moves back into it, we continue. If the dog moves away repeatedly, then we definitely need to change our approach. The ability to maintain the consent behavior tells us that the dog is comfortable enough to continue. We are giving him a way to communicate with us about his level of emotional comfort. Respect your dog's choices to opt in or out of a training session. As trainers, it is normal for us to take the role of controller in a session. We decide when to train, how to train, what to train. What decisions does the dog get to make? Typically none. The dog either goes along with the program or things become unpleasant. But what if you actually listen to your dog and make your training choices based on what he's telling you? What if he gets equal say in how long you work together in a session? Many folks worry that the dog would simply opt out all the time. But would he? And if he does, what does that tell you? Now, is there ever going to be a time when you simply need to ignore all your dog's tell and do what you need to do anyway? Sadly, yes. And Dr. Deb Jones will be covering all of that and more in this term's class, all about nails, which you can find out more about here. Of all the grooming procedures that your dog needs, people report by far the most challenging is trimming nails. If you're looking for a husbandry class strictly focused on feet and nails, this is it. Our ultimate goal in this class is to help your dog become comfortable with nail trims.